French master pâtissier Eric Lanlard has changed the face of British patisserie, earning himself a reputation for not only awe-inspiring cakes, but for a clientele that boasts the likes of Madonna, Elton John, and the Beckhams.
One of my competitors was on television the other day and just said, "We do cake for celebrities." And I said, "We do cake for everybody, including celebrities."
For the first time, he's going to share his tricks of the trade. This isn't just about puddings, it's about Glamour Puds. This edition of Glamour Puds pays homage to the best of British. Britons have always loved something hot and steamy to round off a meal. Top pâtissier Eric Lanlard is set to give some old-school favourites a glamorous makeover. Coming up, for those of you who aren't sweet enough, individual sticky toffee puddings served in a golden syrup tin. Eric takes to the water with rowers training for the London 2012 Olympics, then takes them back to the kitchen to bake a mouth-watering beetroot cake. Plus a cake inspired by one of Britain's favourite dishes, fish and chips.
What could be more British than a hot sticky toffee pudding? Everybody's favourite. But I'm going to do a twist on mine. I'm actually going to bake it and serve it in a golden syrup tin. So the first thing we're going to do is to cream the butter and the sugar together. So I got some caster sugar, and here I got some unsalted butter. I'm just going to mix them very well. So I'm just going to add some eggs to our mixture. The problem with all these pudding recipes is over the years, people have been using awful ingredients, so everybody's got bad memories and of a very heavy one. So I'm going to add some caramel extract to it. You can buy it in, or if you want to make your own, you just do a very dark caramel, and you add a bit of, you deglaze it with a bit of water. And I got some baking powder and some sift flour. I'm just going to fold that in. It's going to be like a very fluffy, light sponge, and mostly because of the size of the tin, they're going to cook very quickly. And it's something you can prepare in advance. You do it in the morning, put them in the fridge, pull them out in the afternoon, so they're at room temperatures, and just put them in the oven when you finish your main course.
To add extra flavour, soak some dates in water with a tea bag. When the flavour has infused, remove the tea bag and add the dates to the mixture. Stir until combined.
So we've got a nice fluffy mixture now. So time to put them in our little surprise tin. So I'm going to put in 2 big spoons of golden syrup. Just going to fill it halfway through with our mixture. That's it. Just make sure you clean the side of your tin, because it will burn in the oven, and it just don't be too attractive. And that's going to be on the baking tray and in the oven. There we are. How cute is that? I'm just going to cut the overflow flat. You can see how nice and moist it is. It's very soft as well. And I got some lovely vanilla ice cream. And just before serving it, we're just going to scoop it on the top Here we are, what a way to finish a dinner party with a great wow factor. Everybody's favourite hot sticky toffee pudding cooked in a golden syrup tin.
Like a fly caught in your web. Running a patisserie, a cookery school and a bespoke wedding cake service can be pretty stressful. So where does Eric head to when he wants to relax? Believe it or not, it's his local fish and chip restaurant.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know, sometimes, you have to get away from everything. Mostly after a long day at work. And, I got some few special places around work, around my house, living locally, where I just like going, they're my little hideaway. And this is one of them. And surprise, surprise, it's not a French bistro where I'm going to have a steak frite. It's actually a fish and chip place. How British is that? Wow.
But it's not long before Eric starts thinking of cakes and desserts again.
So I thought, like, what can we serve? And I thought, why not make a fish and chip cake? So we're going to make a novelty cake who look like a plate of fish and chips. What fun. So the first step is to make our fish, surprisingly enough. So I got a piece of fruitcake here, but you can use a sponge or you can use anything else. But the best thing about the fruitcake is it does keep for a long time. So if you're not too used to work with icing and you want to take your time about doing this, that's perfect. You know it's not going to go off or dried up.
Cut your fish shape. A fillet of fish, of course.
So that's quite a good shape, to be honest. So now I'm just going to roll some icing over it. Just plain white icing. And I'm not using royal icing, I'm using what we call easy roll icing. It's ready-made and it's better, okay? It doesn't dry out, so it's still soft.
Roll out enough soft, easy roll white icing so you can cover the entire fillet of fruit.
But that need to dry before you get painted a bit. So, usually you need to leave it at least overnight. So I got one here we had done yesterday. We're gonna start painting it. So I'm using some food coloring and diluted with some boiled water. I'm using the food coloring almost neat, so to do the darker shade. Here we are, I think that's good enough for the moment. We can always touch it up when it's on its plate. So let's move on to do the newspaper, because they have to be served on newspaper, of course. So to start, like you do with the newspaper, you start with the white sheet.
More easy roll for the newspaper.
The next stage is to crinkle the newspaper on the plate, and I'm actually using a real plate for this one. If you are going to give it away as a gift, maybe put like one of this paper plates, got a strong one.
Place the rolled out icing on a plate. Ruche the corners to create that crumpled page look.
So it needs to dry, but need to dry definitely overnight. And that's what you really want to achieve.
With black food colouring, design your page. You can personalise the heading of your fish and chip cake if designed for a friend.
And it's very important you do your chips right, because we've all been to fish and chips and we know they're not French fries, they are proper chips.
More icing. And remember, like snowflakes, no two chips are exactly the same. So twist and mould the chips and then place them so they look like they've been randomly served on the newspaper. Add lowlights with yellow food colouring for that deep fried look.
Here we are, my favourite British dish, fish and chips cake.
Still ahead, Eric puts in a medal-winning performance when he dishes up a beetroot and hazelnut cake to rowers training for the 2012 Olympics. Plus a fusion burnt cream, or should that be creme brulee? Glamour Puds Best of British continues after this.
I'm tongue-tied when you're around. I'm tongue-tied when you're around.
This edition of Glamour Puds celebrates the best of British. From sticky toffee pudding to trifle, Brits have always loved their puds. Top patissier Eric Lanlard loves the classics, but Eric wouldn't be Eric if he didn't try to add his own individual twist. Coming up, he heads to the kitchen to cook a fusion burnt cream, but first, he's heading to the riverbank. Eric has come to Henley-on-Thames, to the oldest rowing club in the country. The Leander Club is where Sir Stephen Redgrave learnt his trade, and they brought back an incredible 13 medals at the Beijing Olympics. That really does make them the best of British. Eric wants to meet some hopefuls for the London Games and has agreed to take to the water with them.
Right, let's go. Flat on the water. That's it. That's better. Good. Okay, so Eric's just thinking about timing. Match muffin poking, move with him. That's it, really aggressive through the water. Good, Eric. That's it, move with them. Yeah, better, Eric, good.
As these guys think nothing of rowing 10 miles in a morning, they need to take on an incredible 6,500 calories a day. Eric wants to teach them to bake for victory.
Right, guys, so the main ingredient of the cake we're going to bake today is actually beetroot. I know it's a bit different, but it's actually very good for you. So does everybody like beetroot here?
I don't.
You don't like beetroot?
No, I don't like beetroot.
I've had beetroot.
You never had beetroot before?
21 years, never had it.
Really? You probably won't be able to taste the beetroot. You will see the color, but when it's cooked mostly in a cake, it's going to have a very earthy taste, almost like apple or carrots. But actually, beetroot is very good for you. It's full of antioxidants, vitamin C, full of fibres as well, so it's very good for your digestions. And another sneaky little plus on that, it's actually a very good aphrodisiac. So you can stuff yourself with it on a Saturday night if you're not rowing on a Sunday. That's the only thing to do. So we're going to divide you by a group of 2, and we're going to start baking.
Dividing the rows into 2 teams is designed to get a bit of healthy competition going.
Go ahead, do that.
Never had beetroot in my entire life. It's always something I've tried to hide on the dinner plate from my mum.
I've had it a little bit, mainly in salads and stuff, but it's not something I eat a lot of.
I think I just don't like the taste very much, or the smell. The smell's actually what puts me off more than anything else. The smell of my mother cooking beetroot, just, oh, you're struggling there a bit.
Well, I'm sure they've got a much better grade than us because they are.
Yeah, they've definitely got a better grade than us.
I can't really cook.
I think you're a bit slow. I think you need to start to shout, Zoe, at Adam.
Okay, swap now, swap beetroot. Swap. Go. Come on. That's it, Moth, that's it, good.
Golden castor sugar and vegetable oil are combined to make a syrup. Then there's a rather unfamiliar ingredient.
I thought it was just a really, really old banana for a minute.
No, that's a vanilla apple, and it's a very expensive one. The main flavour is inside with all the seeds, and that's what you want to get.
De-seeding a vanilla pod may have proved tricky, but they're not a lot better at separating eggs either.
Actually, all the fats are inside the egg yolk, and that will just stop the egg white to froth. We need to catch up with the recipe, so we're going to mix all the ingredients.
The grated beetroot is added to the vanilla syrup,
The large bowl,
as well as chopped hazelnuts and walnuts. Then egg yolks, flour, and a little milk.
They need to go in the bacon.
So, would you like to tell? You look like you're struggling a bit.
No, I don't trust you one little bit.
Fair enough, I don't think.
The egg whites are then whipped. Another new concept for Adam.
1, 2.
Yes.
Gonna go everywhere.
That's it. That's good. Okay, that's looking good. Do you know when your egg whites are stiff enough?
Got no idea.
Okay, you do that. And you go like this. Perfect.
Good? Okay, good.
That's
Right,
perfect.
The egg whites are folded in to make the cake light and airy. The mixture, which neatly enough is in the Leander colours, is put in a greased loaf tin. Adam and Zoe have got their noses in front.
Oh, but we've already crossed the finish line, so you guys are way behind.
Easy.
The loaves are put into the oven and cooked on a medium heat for just over half an hour.
What decisions can you make up your mind?
inspired our young rowers.
Well, obviously seeing the men's 8 win, that was good, and knowing a lot of guys in that crew, that was great to see them do well.
We all came down to the club and watched it all as a group on TV, and lots of shouting and cheering. Like, it felt as if you were sort of there beside the guys, but yeah, no, it was brilliant. So it's a big inspiration for us then for London 212.
Right, the oven is beeping. It's been in for 40 minutes. It's got a slower than this one, so I'm going to pass it on to you, and you can just turn them around before they start to cool down.
The cakes are loosened and turned out.
It smells amazing. It smells really good. Not like beetroot, which is definitely a positive thing.
They're glazed with apricot jam, loosened with a little hot water, then topped with chopped hazelnuts. The guys are rightly chuffed with their efforts. Even the beetroot doubters seem pleased.
Yeah, no, it's good. There's still a little bit of beetroot, which I think I could do without, but definitely better than I thought it would be. Good.
Next, it's to the clubhouse. What will their hungry teammates make of cake with beetroot?
You think beetroot, you think, well, that's not meant to go in a cake, is it? But it works. It's good.
Probably the best one.
Yes. Good man. Surprisingly okay.
Tired but happy, Eric heads back to the kitchen for a controversial British dessert.
Another great British dessert. But is it? Crème brûlée, burnt cream? Depending how you're going to call it, this one is my own version. It's actually a fusion version of the crème brûlée. Vanilla pod, traditional, but I'm adding to that some fresh ginger and some fresh lemongrass. So first of all, we're going to zap all the flavors together in a food processor. So I'm going to chop some lemongrass, a whole vanilla pod. No need to scrap the thing. They're all going to be zapped together. And a good chunk of fresh ginger. Amazing smell, very strong. Now what we just need to do is to infuse our cream to make our custard for the crème brûlée.
Add double cream and milk to a pan. Add the chopped ginger, vanilla and lemongrass. Stir the mixture and bring it to the boil.
So our cream nice infused with all the lovely flavors. I'm gonna mix the eggs with some sugar. And of course you could infuse your crème brûlée with other flavor. It doesn't have to be those kind of Asian flavors. You can do it with lavender. Put some fresh berries inside as well. It's lovely in the summer. So you can be creative and surprise your guest. And I'm adding some caster sugar to it. So you can do that the day before and leave your crème to set after they've been baked in the fridge overnight and brûler them just before your guests arrive. All right, and through a sieve, I'm just going to pour the cream. And you can see all the little seeds from the vanilla pods. Don't use a sieve too fine as well, because you're going to lose all the vanilla pods. It's always nice to see then. Just going to give it a good push as well, just to get the final juice out of this ginger and lemongrass. For me, a crème brûlée should be done in shallow dish like this. At least this one cook very quickly, so they don't overcooked and they're not like all rubbery. So I'm going to put that on a baking tray. Pour it. And you know when it's cooked, when it's wobbly, not when it's set. It will set in the fridge out of the oven.
The burnt cream, or crème brûlée, needs to go into the oven for around 45 minutes.
Our cream is cooked and chilled, ready to be brûlée. So I got some demerara sugar here to brûlée the top with, to my liking, the best one to use. If you use white sugar, granulated sugar, or caster sugar, it doesn't burn as well. Then it's just to go black, so I just sprinkle all over it. And you don't want to put too much as well, because you don't want to oversweet the cream and having those bits of sugar in your teeth. That's it. That's perfect. A crème brûlée with a différence, packed with lovely fusion flavors. And the final test, perfect.
Next time, a touch of decadence. Tantalise your taste buds with an eggnog trifle that's no trifle. Eric's up and away when he takes a decadent weekend break. Plus, chocolate mousse, meringue and coffee cream come together to make a dessert to die for. Glamour Puds goes decadent next.
I'm tongue